I don't want to call you out. I know you saw me when you were running off the field. I was standing there next to Omar Ruiz, and then Tyler ran past me like he's never seen me before in his life.
I did not
see you. Was that
intentional?
intentional?
I didn't see you. You should have yelled my name or something, or I would have known your voice. Like, if you would have yelled my name or something.
The voice would have been, yeah.
The voice would have been like, oh, okay, yeah. Because, I mean, you always got people heckling, but yeah, I obviously I didn't see you, man, so.
Good blocking on the perimeter, and that opens it up for Tyler Scott.
The Chicago Bears return home this week to face the New England Patriots, and this is an opportunity to start off level. The team is 4-4. You go out there, you get a victory here, and the following week, it's the Green Bay Packers. There was so much to talk about with this team, but before we do that, I want to let everybody know that the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is right at your fingertips in Illinois. The Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Illinois and experience high betting limits, better moneyline splits, more in-game betting, and the best customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. And if you or someone you know has a problem with gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234. Bears, Patriots, just like, what was it? Years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, Bears defeated the New England Patriots. People don't know about that anymore, although we still talk about it. But let's talk about this game with the man of the hour himself, Tyler Scott of the Tyler Scott Show. How are we today? Tyler, how are you doing? Let's do a heat check right now. Are you doing all right? Is everything good?
Hey, man, I'm always good. I'm doing great.
I know that we've had some time to separate from what happened on Sunday, which, by the way, I don't want to call you out. I know you saw me when you were running off the field. I was standing there next to Omar Ruiz, and then Tyler ran past me like he's never seen me before in his life.
I did not
see you. Was that
see
intentional?
I didn't see you. You should have yelled my name or something, or I would have known your voice. Like, if you would have yelled my name or something.
The voice would have been, yeah.
The voice would have been like, oh, okay, yeah. Because, I mean, you always got people heckling, but yeah, I obviously I didn't see you, man. So,
I'm always protective because I always want to be respectful of everybody. I don't want you to be like, hey, why were you sitting there talking to Rank after this? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? And I had our cards with us and everything. And I'm like, I don't want to get into a situation where like the wrong person, like sometimes you got to be able to read the room. And this has always been one of the toughest thing for me about being a sports reporter is that I always hated going into a losing locker room and being like having to ask those tough questions. Now there are guys who live for that. So I was actually in the interview room with Matt Eberflus. There are guys who live for that. Like they just want to ask the coach the hard-hitting questions.
The hard questions, and
which I mean, I appreciate it. Like people need to do that. Yeah. That's just not, I don't know. It's not in my personality. I always want to be like, hey, like it could have been better. But what about that game on Sunday? A lot of things didn't go well. First of all, by the way, how weird was the hail that came down in the middle of that stadium? The roof is open. I'm like, how is it raining?
I mean, because when we first pulled up, it looked like a nice day. I guess there was, some forecasting of, maybe some rain, but it looked like a nice day pulling in. I'm like, man, it looks like feels like a good atmosphere. Walking into the stadium, okay, they got the roof open, okay. And then like all of a sudden, I'm like, it looked like it was raining at first, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a second, this looks like hail, and it was thick, and I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. And so then you can slowly see the roof kind of coming together. But that was crazy. Never seen that. An indoor stadium being, rained on / hailed on.
It's wild. And when you're at SoFi as well, it's technically not an indoor stadium. It's got a canopy over it. And sometimes when it rains and the elements are going, it'll come in sideways like it did in the national championship game between the Georgia Bulldogs and TCU. So it was kind of because like you're not expecting it. It was brighter than I've seen it before. at that stadium, and I didn't even pay attention to it. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, because they wouldn't let me on the field before the game. I think that's another big thing too. Like the Arizona Cardinals don't let you on the field before the game. They're one of those. By the way, you know what they also do? They don't give you enough options. They don't have running water in the press box, and they also don't give you enough food options. But listen, thank you for having me, Arizona. I do appreciate it.
True.
But after the game and everything, now we've been able to move away. I know that Matt Eberflus has this 24-hour rule. You're looking forward to the New England Patriots, and we'll get to that in a moment. But when you went through the film and you started looking through it, and I said earlier this week, I went back and watched the game myself. I watched some of the former quarterbacks in the NFL breaking down the film. What is the biggest takeaway with this offense right now? What do the Bears need to do to get back on track? Because before the bye week, the previous two games against Carolina and Jacksonville were magnificent. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit of a struggle. What needs to happen to get this offense back rolling?
Man, that's tough. So I mean, we've had our runs of it's kind of been really pretty roller coaster, I would say. As far as the season is going, start off the season kind of look like we're trying to find ourselves, and then we had a good patch where it's like, oh, okay, it looks like we're clicking, and then it kind of tailored back off, after the bye. But I mean, I think, I feel like what you've seen so far, especially starting from the beginning of the season, it was kind of more stagnant, coming out of the huddle, typical, football operation in the NFL. And then we kind of started moving towards more of kind of the no huddle type of deal, because we feel I feel like with Caleb, that was kind of his thing. It seemed like when we went kind of no huddle, just kind of line up and just kind of play, that seemed to help out a little bit. But it's kind of tough when we're taking sacks, getting behind the chains, and just I feel like when we're finding ourselves in third and such long situations, because our third down conversion rating over the last 2 games has been so low. But I feel like that also has to do with a lot of just early downs and just getting ourselves out of, but not behind the sticks. And, when that happens, it's hard to convert, in situations. And then on top of that, it's all right, well, we'll get down the field. And it's we got to capitalize when we're in the red zone. And, we've been pretty good within the red zone. But, Caleb, I think, the past 2 games, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass,
Yeah.
So I feel like, that's been huge, just, when we get in the red zone, Rome hits a huge bomb, right? Catches a huge bomb down the field. It's on that, we got to score. We got to get in the end zone. So we can't just be sending Kyra out there. Obviously Kyra does, a great job, but, 6-7 points is better than, 3 points. So I feel like it's just a blunder of different things that's kind of, getting us behind. I feel like it's not just one person, but it's really just a whole group, effort, us just, I guess continuing to try to get back on that wave that we once had, coming off the break. And so, what better team to do it than, the Patriots are coming back home. So, be in front of our home crowd. I feel like we haven't played a whole game. And I know the home game was, Jacksonville.
That was not really a home game.
Yeah, but that wasn't, we weren't, a Soldier. So, we'll be back in front of our home fans. I feel like, this will be a good boost. We haven't lost this year in front of our home fans yet. So, this will be good for us.
That's right. Eberflus does have that streak going. The Bears, I should say, have that streak going of not losing at Soldier Field, which is great. We did hear, though, DJ Moore talking about this on Wednesday, where they were asking him about potential chemistry with Caleb Williams. And I love DJ Moore so much, and I love his frankness. Now, obviously, there's some people who are going to be a little bit more talkative than others, but he's just so matter of fact, he's a rookie. And I know people want to overreact to everything that he does, but it feels like a pretty legitimate, he's a young quarterback. Do you think that people and maybe it's because other quarterbacks have done okay with some certain things, but I feel like there's unnecessary pressure on Caleb. He's played 8 games. Can we chill out for a little bit? He's still doing some good things.
No, for sure. I mean, I feel like you've seen the progress, that he's made throughout the season. And that's, that's like a rookie season. You're going to have your ebbs and flows, that you go through. That's just part of the game. That's just part of the process, a part of football. That's just a part of the beauty of the grind of, getting to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes getting to the mountaintop so precious, is when you go through all these, different, rough spots and patches. So you can finally look back and be like, man, look at, where I started and, kind of just, how I built my career and just, how I got to the point that I am now. So I feel like that's just part of, learning, growing. And, obviously at the quarterback position there's so much, that you're dealt with, and there's so much on your plate. And then him being the number one overall pick, having, all these expectations and, in a market like Chicago, a super passionate fan base, they'll boo you first drive of the game, you know what I'm saying? You don't you don't score, they're booing, but just a very passionate fan base, and that's a good thing. They're passionate about the Bears football, but like I said, I mean I feel like that's also a good thing. They travel well. Moving with Arizona, it felt like a home game. Like I was literally like all we were talking about on the sideline. I was like, man, this is a home game. Like you hear this, like you look around the stadium, it's a lot of orange and navy blue. So, but yeah, I feel like that's just part of the process.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things about being out there was the sheer number of Bears fans, like everywhere you looked. And there's obviously a lot of camaraderie and everything like that. And I know for the players, I hope it does mean a little bit something that these people, and it's not just, there are a lot of people who live in Arizona now who are from the Chicagoland area originally. But I was talking to people who are from like South Dakota, Colorado Springs. There was a guy who flew in from Portland, and obviously I came in from Long Beach with a number of people. So it is cool, and it's always a great trip. We wanted to win, but whatever. Still, an opportunity out there and to hang out with the fans is always good. Moving forward, though, so we hear there was more players meetings and more stuff like that, trying to get back to basics. I know it worked earlier this year when we kind of addressed a number of different things. What is the message moving forward? What do we need to do this week to go out there and extend the winning streak at home field, just to get a win before Green Bay looms there in 2 weeks? And I know you're not probably looking ahead too much, but still, what needs to happen to get back on track against the New England Patriots?
Yeah. So I mean, one thing about this league that I've come to learn, and something that coach has been talking about, is that this league is a week-to-week league, and I've heard that from vets and coaches and things of that nature, that this really is a week-to-week league, and I've learned that. 1 week you lose, everyone needs to go and you're getting fired, and then the next week you win, and man, we're going to the Super Bowl. So you see that it's just such a roller coaster of emotions, especially in a place like Chicago. But I think just realizing that, and not letting like the outside noise affect what goes on inside. Still believing in each other and everything we have, and understanding like we haven't even played any division games yet. Any like in division, games yet. So like I said, we can still get the things that we want to get to as far as playing for a Super Bowl at the end of the year. But yeah, we just, like I said, just take 1 week at a time. We're going back home, hopefully a good kind of reset, of just being on the road, having a bye week, then being, in London, then being, in Washington and Arizona. So, finally get to come back to Chicago, in familiar ground, familiar territory, and just, kind of start this thing back up, because all it takes is one win, because, I mean, you look what happened to the Saints. They started off, it seemed like, I mean, they were putting up 40 points a game. They were undefeated. They were going crazy. And then just like that, it flipped. And wow, the head coach is fired. So, that's just the NFL though. Like that's the NFL. Like it's, teams have stints where it's like, man, they're hot and then they go cold, and then they're hot at the right time. So I just feel like we just need to focus on this week and focus on getting this win, and just like I said, have it snowball effect and into our division games.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because I remember back right around this point last season, people were looking at Jordan Love and being like, oh, did the Packers make a mistake? He finishes off very strong. CJ Stroud finished off really strong, and now he's kind of struggling a little bit too. And it just goes to show, like, it's almost one of those things, like, you're never as good as you are when you're winning. You're never as bad as you are as you're losing. What do you do personally, though? Like, how do you combat that stuff? Because I know for me, like, I get overwhelmed by stuff sometimes. I'll go watch Modern Family. I don't know why that's my new go-to now. But is there something that you do to be like, this is how I'm going to ground myself? This is how I want to make sure that I stay in the right frame of mind?
Yeah, I feel like, just like I said, realizing kind of what you just said, just more so just understanding that's what it is. And so you just got to stay like this. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit here and let the lows get you low and the highs get you high. I know that's a saying that's said a lot, but that's really true, especially when you're going through a long season. And, things happen from week to week and, things of that nature. You really got to stay level as far as your mindset and understanding like, okay, this is a process. This is a grind. Some weeks are going to go your way. Some weeks aren't going to go your way. It's only been one team in history that's ever won or that's ever won every single game and never lost within a season. And that was, some time ago. Was it 72 Dolphins?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So that's that's a long time. So like I said, that's just the NFL. So you just gotta really stay level and understand like that's what it is. And so I feel like once you get that perspective and that mindset, it's easy to kind of not necessarily move on from loss to loss and win to win, but you just kind of take it for what it is. You don't get too high, get too low, but you kind of stay in that flow of just in that grind of each week. Preparing like this is the last game.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too. We also would have accepted 2007 Patriots as a regular season undefeated, but again, it's very rare for these things to happen. Although I will ask you, the Kansas City Chiefs are undefeated right now. Obviously, they had the breakout game or they had the standalone game on Monday night when everybody gets to watch. Given what happened on Sunday, did you watch the Monday night game, or when you guys lose, do you just be like, I don't want to watch football?
For me, I don't know how about everybody else, but for me, I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like it's week to week. Sometimes I'm like, I'll check and see what's going on. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to watch it all. But particularly that Monday night game, I did catch. I don't think I caught it from the beginning, but I want to say I pretty much caught the whole second half. For the most part, I think it was when DeAndre Hopkins scored his first touchdown. But so actually it was a little bit before then. But I think I watched probably 3/4 of the game.
Okay, so you did. Yeah, I'm like very similar. Like when there's the weeks that we win, like I can't wait to go on to NFL Plus and be like, I'm gonna watch this game again. And now it was like it took me a couple of days. It took me a couple of days. Like, I finally just watch this and go through it. And it's also different when I'm there. I do remember a lot of the good stuff that happened. Was it weird? Like, I know that there's always a lot of stuff. Like, obviously, Dennis Allen was fired on Monday. When you come into work on Monday and you hear like, hey, Dennis Allen was fired, do you like pull up and you're like, I wonder what's happening? Like, do you ever have like, okay, like, is everybody's key card working? Everything? Because like, like you never know. Like, it's one of those things. Is that ever? Do the players?
I don't. But I feel like it's more so of like we mentioned this back a couple episodes ago. Just players have awareness of what goes on throughout the league. Like we know, coaches, players, like we know the raps of players. Like we know Ezekiel Elliott. Obviously, he was an inactive, healthy scratch because he, can't show up to meetings on time. Like little stuff like that. Those things don't go unnoticed around the league. Like guys know and hear about, every little thing. But it's just more so just like, at least personally, when I heard something like that with the Dennis Allen situation, it was just like, wow. Just kind of what we talked about. It's like, man, this is crazy how the season could be just starting off so great. And the things, it seems like, man, we're feeling good about ourselves. Feeling good about what we got as a coaching staff, as a team. And then, you got things that just happen. And it's like, wow, just like that, boom, guy gets fired and loses his job. It's like, wow. Just how fast and how crazy things can turn and how just such a microwave league this is. And, I feel like it's just you kind of have those realizations and just those things that kind of just keep you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you guys are going to do this week too. You're going to win and you're going to suck me in to that Packers game. Be like, oh, we're back. We're 5-4. And then I'm going to get a lot of wind in my jaw and I'm going to be running my mouth on the NFL Network. So I need you to know that when you win this week, you got to back it up. You can't just win this week and then mail in the Packers. No. Winning this week means you're committed to winning the following week. And I can't have it any other way. For me, I know you guys want to win for yourselves, but now it's starting to become for me. I need this. And I've been sitting here, and anybody who watched the fantasy show on Thursday knows that I was backing our guy, DJ Moore. Great person. Stop the noise. Like, he's fine. We love him. So we're all good. I just need you to know I need this victory. I really do. Hey, by the way, speaking about like knowing what's going on around the league, what about my best friend, Darnell Mooney? Dude, did you see what he did on Sunday? He's been playing pretty well.
He's been playing great, man. I mean, he's been playing really well. Every time I check my phone, a highlight of him scoring or just watching film around from guys around the league is like, man, just seeing him cook up some nice routes. He's been doing great, man, and I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, I am too. And I know that him and I had that moment at SoFi Stadium
Yeah.
where I was allowed in the locker room, which is fine. It's okay.
He knew you.
He knew me. That's always the way. Him and David Montgomery, I'll never forget. Being like, really? Like, oh, that's so wild. That's why I would go out there and collect all their cards. And speaking of cards, at Windy City Sports Cards, they specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, Whitehawks, Blackhawks, or Sky, we've got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. And in addition to their Chicago-focused items, they also offer a vast collection of sports trading cards and memorabilia from your favorite teams and players, guys like Tyler Scott. And I still have some cards for you. I will get those to you. I don't know if we ever settled on who gets the Dalton Kincaid, who gets the Lamar Jackson. I'm going to let you guys. So I don't want to be. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of it. Do you have a card to show us? Right. I got a card to show us, but do you have one?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me do mine first because I want to ask you about this person.
Go ahead.
I do have a vast collection of these, and now this is Juice.
Oh yeah, oh my man.
Our guy.
Man, I was hurt. Man,
how bad? Like, how did I don't know. I know a lot of my friends who root for the Bengals. They're Bengals supporters. I love the city of Cincinnati. I love the Bengals organization. They've always been very kind to me. I'm happy for him to get an opportunity. I'm bummed to see him go and leave the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, man, that was a close one for me on the team, man. That was one of my dogs, man. We were tight, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't, obviously getting what he wanted here, so he's going into a situation. Hopefully he'll be able to, put his skills back on display. Going to Cincinnati, I'm very familiar with the territory. Great city. I told him, I was like, man, great city. I'm like, you're going to a great city. My wife and I, we're obviously alumni at the University of Cincinnati. So we're very familiar, and we make it, a point to go there at least probably about twice a year just to go back. It's nostalgic for us. But yeah, no, I told him like going to a great city, and but yeah, that one hurt. That one was, I haven't had too much NFL hurt as far as like the whole like having guys leave and then like really feeling it. I've had guys who are like, man, that one sucked, but this one was like, dang. That one hurt.
That's a rough one. Did you get a chance to see him before? Like, is his locker cleared out when you get there, or how did you find out?
So I found out through him and social media. I knew we had already been talking. So he kind of was like, yeah, it's looking like this, that, and the third. So I was like, all right. But then it was really official. I feel like I found out through social media. That was kind of my confirmation. And then we hit each other up. But I seen him the day before. I want to say that Monday he was there working out. So we definitely talked and, kind of chopped it up before then. So, yeah.
I'm bummed out about that one.
Yeah.
I know you won't, but give him my best.
Yeah. No, I will. I'll let him know. Fine. I will.
That's all right. No, it's okay. You don't have to. But that one did suck. I was like, nah, that sucks. But I'm happy for him. I think actually him with Chase Brown are going to be a nice little combination. No disrespect to Zach Moss. I hope he gets well with his neck injury. But I really think that's a good opportunity for him. The Bengals are starting to hit their stride.
Yeah,
so I am happy for him on a human being level. Bummed out as a Bears fan. Happy for him as a human. How about your card? So what do we got today?
So this one is special to me, man. I got this when I was 12. I want to say I was 12 or 11. One of my friends, his dad, he was a huge car collector and he had a set. And so he was like, yeah, you can have the set. And so I remember picking out, looking through the set and I was like, oh yeah, I want this guy. So this one is very dear to me, and car collectors know that this one is it's a gem in the card world. So we have a 1981 Topps. You're an LA guy. Magic Johnson.
Whoa.
So for people that don't know, obviously the original. You see the official.
Ooh, look at that.
But for those of you that don't know, this is actually Magic Johnson's first solo rookie card. So he has his official rookie card. So his official rookie card, if you look it up, it'll be the card with him, Larry Bird, and Dr. J.
Oh,
And so it's kind of like a trio card. And they'll kind of count, I think it was a 1980 set. And they'll kind of count that as like Larry Bird's and Magic Johnson's kind of official rookie card.
yeah.
But this is his first card with him, his earliest card, I would say, with him solo. So, and this is a very hard set to collect, the 1981 Topps basketball series. So, yeah, that's a card I have, I hold very dear. Actually, I think I have 2 of these. But yeah, so that's the card for today.
That's very cool. I have to believe that I had it at some point. As somebody who grew up, because I actually grew up in Southern California. This is, what's funny is like whenever you sit here and you do your thing with LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, and people get upset. I also get into it a little bit too. Whenever I'm out in Chicago, depending on how I'm feeling, I will start throwing out. I'll start I'll be like, you know what? Like,
you have a segment.
Magic Johnson doesn't get enough credit for being in the conversation as the best player of all time. He won 5 titles. He played center during his rookie season, and everybody just acts like Michael Jordan parachuted into the NBA in 1991 and won a title. You're like, no. He was a contemporary with both Magic and Bird. Like, they were the same time. They were on the Dream Team together. Like, they were the same time. So So how about this? Being the Lakers guy, is Magic the greatest Laker of all time? Yeah. I say that as the greatest Laker player of all time, because I think you can make a case for Jerry West being the greatest Laker of all time because he had his playing career and also as the general manager, building that great Lakers franchise into a championship thing. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation, and obviously Kareem deserves. He doesn't get enough credit for how good he was too. Yeah, you know what?
Kobe, you got Kobe in there.
Kobe. You know what's funny? I was teaching somebody the other day because everybody does the thing, and I know it comes from the Chappelle Show. But they're like, Kobe. When I was a kid, that verbiage was actually worthy. That used to be the thing, and then Chappelle modernized it. From what Southern California kids were always saying, we're like worthy. I think Anthony Kiedis.
I didn't know that.
Worthy and then
it got to Kobe. Okay.
That was actually the forerunner to Kobe. It was worthy. Ask Anthony Kiedis and Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They will back that up. I know you don't know who the Chili Peppers are. Very famous Southern California rock band who only sings about being from Southern California. But at any event, listen, I know I've kept you too long already. We're having some fun with Magic Johnson. This is how we annoy the Chicago fans at the end before we send them on the way.
Hey, man, they need to know the history about sports cards and this, niggas, man.
Sammy, our producer, is even saying that Magic Johnson is his favorite player. So we love, and I think Sammy and I had this conversation when we were at Batista's in Las Vegas during the Super Bowl. So I love that card. Great pull. Appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you being here. We're looking forward to a better week against the New England Patriots. I'm going to say, believe it or not, you're going to beat the New England Patriots. And we're going to get that victory, and we're going to move on to the Packers with a win under our belt and being above 500. Are you ready for it, Tyler?
I'm ready.
We're ready. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. For Tyler, I'm Adam. Appreciate you all being here. And Sammy, go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.